We're back now with 44 days to go. Control of the House and Senate hanging in the balance, and the races here in Wisconsin incredibly close. The latest Marquette Law School poll shows a toss-up in the race for U.S. Senate between Republican Senator Ron Johnson and Democrat Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. ABC News political director Rick Klein joins us now from Washington. Rick, it's good to see you.
Hey, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start right there with the Senate race. Just how closely is the Senate race being watched across the nation, and could control of the Senate actually come down to Wisconsin?
100%. It could come down to that. Senator Ron Johnson is probably the most embattled, endangered Senate Republican. And if Democrats are able to defeat him, it's almost impossible to see how Republicans are able to hold the Senate. So this one could be for all the marbles. Senator Johnson always has tough races. But this race for his third term may be his toughest yet. We also know that races in Wisconsin always come down to the wire. And this is looking to be very much in keeping with that. A lot of money being spent on the airwaves already to try to define the candidates, and this one is as big as it gets.
Yeah, and every vote counts. A lot of talk right now about the Latino vote in Wisconsin and an outreach on both parties, both sides of the aisle making that outreach. Which party has the Latino support?
Well, this is one of the more intriguing stories of the last few years in politics. The Latino voters, which have been overwhelmingly Democratic for generations now, have started to move more toward the Republican side. It isn't to say that they're becoming Republicans overwhelmingly, but it is to say that Republicans have made inroads. And the difference between winning the Latino vote as a Democrat 60-40 versus 51-49 is huge. I don't think anyone expects that Latinos overall, very diverse voting bloc to begin with, are going to suddenly all become Republicans. But Senator Johnson has an opportunity to capitalize on some of the inroads that President Trump did.
We are seeing a disagreement right now in terms of how many debates the campaigns are agreeing to. Senator Johnson, the incumbent, has committed to 3, and Mandela Barnes just 1. Is there anything that you're making of this, and is this part of a national trend that we're seeing in races across the country?
The debate over debates is as hot as it's ever been. I think it's a sign of the times that the candidates can't even agree on a forum where they can disagree with each other. And I think for Mandela Barnes, he's tried to kind of limit some of the exposure he may have as someone that's newer to the national political scene. I know a lot of donors are trying to get worried about that race. And I think for Senator Johnson, he's comfortable and confident in his ability to do that. That does flip the script a bit. Most of the places where we've seen the debate over debates, it's been Republicans less willing and likely to participate than the Democrat. But we do see things that move in the other direction. Pennsylvania is another race that comes to mind where there's only one debate locked in, even though the Republican candidate, in that case, Mehmet Oz, Dr. Oz, would like to see more.
Looking at what happened this past week with the House, they passed the Presidential Election Reform Act. Wisconsin's delegation split, Democrats voting for, Republicans voting against. The bill is in direct response to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. It reaffirms that the vice president has no role in validating an election. It also expands the threshold for lawmakers to object to an election. Senator Johnson says he's open to looking at the bill. Does it actually pass the Senate?
It's unlikely to move in the Senate. There's a different bill that is got some bipartisan support, but I'm not expecting that Senator Johnson's going to support it, and I'm not expecting that 10 Republicans ultimately would support it this close to an election. Look, I think the flaws in the electoral process that were laid bare by January 6th are still there. Democrats feel like it's an important priority to try to change that, but they've also had a year and a half to do it, and doing it now 6-7 weeks before the election is just too politicized an environment. So it was telling the only Republicans in the House to vote for that bill. There were 9 votes in favor of it by Republicans. Every single one of them is either leaving Congress because they're retiring or because they already lost their primaries.
Definitely a busy week ahead with impacts here in Wisconsin, all across the state. ABC News political director Rick Klein. Rick, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. My pleasure.
Well, up next, another low for the Supreme Court.